For more than 100 years, America's national parks have dazzled countless visitors. Pristine places for future generations to soak in the country's rugged beauty. But these days, the tourists seem to outnumber the wildlife. In 2019, 327 million people visited our national parks, more than double 50 years ago. Mark Strassmann traveled to Utah's Zion National Park to brave the crowds while admiring the beauty.
Sculpted over millennia, Zion is an oasis in southwest Utah's desert. Towering sandstone cliffs and slot canyons carved by wind and water, a paradise on earth. It's a geological gem, like the scale of the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone's geysers. Timeless natural treasures, what Teddy Roosevelt called our sacred heritage. But as their popularity grows, America's national parks feel under attack by Americans themselves.
We've seen the busiest Zion National Park has ever been is after COVID.
Stan Smith's the mayor of Springdale, Utah, the gateway community into Zion.
Why is that?
Look around. Even if they're not religious, this is their temple, this is their sanctuary, this is where they come to find peace and solitude and feel good. There's just a special feeling in Zion.
But finding that serenity can feel impossible. The issue? Record crowds at Zion and more than a dozen other national parks. Tourists and adventure seekers drawn by the beauty and driven outdoors by the pandemic. Zion, the fourth most visited park in the system, saw 20,000 people in one day last month. Attendance grew more than 60% over the last decade. Park spokesperson Amanda Rowland says planning ahead is critical.
Understand that you need to go online and make your reservations for camping. Understand that parking is going to be full in the park, so ride that shuttle that's in town and really be flexible.
Now this is the sort of view everyone comes to Zion looking for. Dramatic, majestic, timeless. The very reason national parks exist. But take a look down below. See all those cars and RVs snaking through the canyon? That is the challenge. Millions want their Zion moment.
By daybreak, most of the year, thousands of Zion visitors have parked their cars and filed onto shuttles, taking them down the canyon.
We got to the park at 4:45 this morning, caught the first shuttle out here, got up and down as quick as we could just to kind of beat all the crowds.
It's not just Zion where your wilderness experience can feel compromised. Arches National Park in Utah regularly closes its entrance by 9 a.m. because it's full. At Yellowstone, Old Faithful marvels the masses. 1 million visitors in July alone, a record. And look at this image. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park looks theme park packed.
The pro, which is all these people are enjoying this incredible beauty, but the con is there's so many people. It puts you off. You go, wow, I mean, we have to move aside or we have to go around people.
The crowds have strained nearby Springdale, too. Over the last 5 years, its 660 full-time residents have felt stampeded by millions of park lovers.
Zion National Park and Springdale are married. We share boundaries.
But like all marriages, they go through stresses, and this is one of those periods.
We're 3 miles long, and we had cars parked on both sides of the road for 3 miles. And we called it the Metal Canyon.
Scott Williamson owns Zion Cycles, Springdale's only full-service bike shop. In 2 years, booming demand has tripled his fleet to 150 bikes. Business is so good, he's worried for the park.
The high season is 9 months out of the year.
Moving towards 12?
And moving towards 12.
Do you sometimes scratch your head and say, where are all these people coming from?
I talk to and have lots of friends over the last few years that have stopped coming back because of how popular it is.
But the most significant threat may be to the parks themselves, where the conservation motto is, leave no trace. Instead, people leave trash or reminders etched in stone of their visit. Part of the problem? Funding. Congress is forcing the parks to do more with less.
Do you worry for the future of the park?
Concern. The park is my business. If it turns into something ugly, I lose business. I can't afford to not have the park.
Zion's on track to hit nearly 5 million visitors this year. At 229 square miles, it's especially small and unusual in that 99% of visitors get funneled through a single canyon. The great outdoors quickly can feel claustrophobic.
Will we reach a point where there's so much traffic, there's genuine concern for the park itself?
I mean, that's a larger discussion about parks in general, right? We need to be asking ourselves, what does that look like? What does that mean?
Important questions for the Park Service. Some have introduced timed entry or ticket requirements to control crowds, trying to leave the drama to the scenery. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Mark Strassmann at Zion National Park.
I think one great key is there's a lot of out-of-the-way places in these parks that you can check out.
Yeah,
to
just
stay
don't
away from the crowds.
Don't follow the crowd.
The good and the bad, right?
Yes.